Yo, what's up, family? Welcome to the first review of 2024. We're going to be talking about Blumhouse's new movie, Night Swim. Do I think it sank or do I think it swam? That's a corny joke. That's just who I am. Let's get into the review.
My kids have seen things, and I'm worried something is happening to my husband.
Night Swim is a fun time at the theater with really good jump scares, great visual effects, and a good cast that keeps you engaged in the story. Now, I will say that the movie started off a little slow, but the moment I started to get a little like, hey guys, when is it going to it turns immediately at that point. They had a really good idea of the type of pacing that they wanted to do. They introduced our characters, starting with the father, who's a former MLB player played by Wyatt, who's looking for a place to recover from an injury that he had. So his family is going around looking for a new home to live in. And the places they choose because it has a pool. Unfortunately for them, this pool is haunted. Now, when I say the pool is haunted, that sounds ridiculous. It doesn't sound like it's enough for a movie to go off on. However, they do a really good job at developing the lore of the story and pulling you in. Once you learn the rules of this world and what's going on, it becomes a very engaging affair. This movie had all the horror elements that I want in a horror movie. I want to talk to the screen silently. Let's be respectful, we're in the theater, but I want to talk to the screen when the people in a horror movie are going down the hallway that they shouldn't go, or someone's going into the pool and they're swimming deeper and deeper even though their parents told them not to, and now they end up face to face with a monster or something else, right? This is the kind of thing that you want out of a horror movie, and one of the things that this movie does really well is suspense. They set up really good foreshadowing, like glass on the floor or just little hints around every single corner that makes you question what you're seeing on screen. And like I mentioned before, I had to give props to some of the visual effects. Sequences that took place in the pool went from seemingly mundane to really shocking in a matter of moments. Some of the more supernatural elements in this movie are really made engaging by some of the underwater camera work that they used. There's some really fun homages to classic horror movies. It's not perfect by any stretch. There are some logical leaps that you have to make. Nothing too much to do with the lore in and of itself, but some of the more ancillary things, right? So, for example, the father, like I said, is an MLB player. As a matter of fact, he's a star third baseman. The neighborhood that they're looking for houses in is not a star third baseman neighborhood at all. I was literally in the theater leaning over to a friend like, why would a star third baseman in the MLB be looking for a home here? He ain't got no money. The only other issue that I had with the movie, which kind of took me out of it, but it's not really that big of a deal, is the Michael Phelps level of swimming ability that some of the family members had. They would breathe underwater for what felt like forever. And I was just kind of like, hey, your time probably should have ran out by now. Like, legitimately, at one part in the movie, I really thought that the son could have been recruited by Charles Xavier into the school for gifted youngsters. So ultimately, I'm going to give this movie 3.5 sparks. I had a really fun time at the theater. I think the movie did a really good job of explaining its lore and doing good story building. But at the end of the year, it probably won't be anywhere near my top 10 of the year of 2024 list. And speaking of which, I have put out my top 10 movies of 2023 list, as well as my top 10 and most anticipated movies of 2024 list as separate videos on the channel. Go ahead and check those out, and I'll talk to you guys next time.